Welcome back to Questing Beast. I'm Ben. Today we'll be taking a look at the city of Great Lunden, which is a city setting for use with old school games. It is the Midderlands compatible, so this is the third book, I think, in the Midderlands series. I've reviewed the other two ones previously. They are just the Midderlands and the Midderlands Expanded. So this is a sort of grimy, green, gritty take on medieval England. So if you want a somewhat historical fantasy version of medieval England, this is a good place to go. Before we get started, let's take a look at the back here. And I should let you know that this channel is funded by Patreon. You can head over to the Patreon for Questing Beast down in the description below and join if you would like to support the channel. Those who support also get access to the top secret Questing Beast Discord. You can get a look behind the scenes at things I'm working on, and you can get your name immortalized in the description. So this is a fully compatible with the Midderlands, and it just goes through fantasy London, essentially. But one of the big standouts of this is the maps that it comes with. The author, Glyn Seal, is really good at cartography. I'm going to show you some of the things that he's created for this game. First off, we have a zoomed in map of kind of the center of London. One of the things I really like about this is I think it's specifically designed for rooftop chases. It's zoomed in enough that you can see how all the roofs are aligned with each other. And it has these arrows on the top that are pointing which way is downhill. So you can actually plan out and orchestrate heists and rooftop chases, which I think is really cool. We also have this map right here, which is a giant overview of the city of London itself, along with the surrounding area. We also have a map of the city's sewers. Oop, there we go. Because you know the players are going to be going underground and they're going to be exploring what the underneath of the city is like. This lays out the sewer system and which sewer entrances are guarded, which are unguarded, whether it's a main sewer, a side sewer, and so on. And even has information about sewage flow direction. And lastly, here we go. We have a sort of a zoomed in area near the center of the city. A little bit zoomed out versus the one that was for rooftop chases. But it has a lot of detail on where important buildings are. The players are going to stay in the heart of the city. Now, one really cool thing is that the back of all of these is also useful. Essentially, what the backs of each of these are, let me pull out this one here. We have this big map of the city and its environs, right? Well, each quarter of this map, so for example, this quarter right here, is blown up and put onto the back of one of these maps. Same thing with each of these quarters. So if you take these four maps that I've shown you and flip them all over, you can combine them together to make a super version of this map that's 4 times larger. So that's really awesome if you want a giant map that would take over your entire table. All right, let's put these off to the side and dig into the book itself. We have some shout outs to the front. In the interest of full disclosure, I do have a shout out at the beginning here, along with some other really great blogs and YouTube channels. We have a basic history of the city, ward heraldry, how the government works, taxes and law and order, arcane law, gambling law, fire law, and ridiculous law, the city's defenses, and so forth. This is very particular in the sense that this book is really building one city in a lot of detail. Like most old school stuff, you can take it apart and use the bits that you like fairly easily. But this is really designed to have a particular flavor and all work together as one city. We have the different areas. For example, you have Blackgate, Brothen Ward, Marketgate, and each of these places has some stats that make it a little bit easier to run. So we have smells and sounds. We have 10 things that are happening there, which I guess you can switch up each time to keep things fresh and interesting. And we have a description of that ward, along with some interesting locations, which can be found on the map. They're all keyed here. Let's move ahead a little bit. One nice thing is that the structure of this is set up with these colored tabs on the corners, which is a really nice touch. It really helps you find where you are on within the book. So the blue is one group of wards, the pink is the outer wards, north, and it continues on in this manner with the same pattern. 10 things happening, a ward description, important locations there, sometimes with important characters that you would find. Skipping along, we have the outer wards to the south. And then in the next zone, we have different types of structures. So structures are broken down into different materials you might have, roofing, buildings on the bridges, structures of note, and some particular structures that actually need pictures and or diagrams in case you want to investigate or invade them. Some stores. We have lots of good floor plans. I think there are some more floor plans at the back, but of course you can steal these and reskin them if you want. A lot of these locations come with unique NPCs that you might find there and some secrets that you can unearth. Lots and lots of locations. Below the streets, we have a sewer system with information about the tunnels there, entrances and exits, the flow direction. So of course you can use this in conjunction with that sewer map that I showed you recently. We have a really great 3D model of a house, and I really like how it has all of the different features and different parts of it labeled, because this is the kind of terminology that I just wouldn't know, and it's great to be able to use that and be more particular. One really interesting feature here is that we have rooftops. So we actually have a system for rooftop chases and doing stuff on them. So we have rooftop actions, whether you're climbing, whether there's a hazard, how you would fight on it. And we have even moving up and across. So how far are you trying to go? Are you trying to go up? Are you trying to go down? And it gives you actual things that you can roll using old school D&D stats to make that happen. Oddities, flora and fauna, royal blades. So some cool items here that you can throw in there. And some new monsters. This is actually statted for old school D&D. So it's not system neutral like some of the books I've been looking at recently. So any sort of D&D light game should be able to adapt it pretty easily. Organizations, guilds, and groups with some NPCs here that you can quickly grab, either as NPCs, or I suppose you could use them as PCs as well, if you want to start everyone off at 3rd level. I think most of these are all 3rd level. Churches in Havenland, some minor guilds, and adventure hooks. This stuff is really useful because you're going to need things to give to your players. These appendices are quite useful. Alley names, quick merchants and street vendor tables, tavern and inn, lists of unusual trades, and so on. So it's much more particular than something like Magical Industrial Revolution, which I looked at recently. It's one city, and it goes into a lot more detail. It's much less of a kit. So I would say it's less useful if you're just trying to create your own city, although you could take different buildings and wards and kind of plop them down in yours. But it works better, I think, as a sustained campaign in one particular place, rather than a giant grab bag of useful stuff to build your own setting with. I would like for there to have been more useful things like random tables to generate more details about the city. But there is quite a lot that is fleshed out for each of the different wards and even for the buildings within the wards. So I think there's plenty of material there for you to use. And this would provide a very long campaign, plenty of fuel to sustain itself. If you're interested in the great city of Lunden, you can check out the links in the description below. I will put to where you can get this in PDF or in print form, along with the other books in the Midderland series. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you guys next time.